everybody, it's me Nate aka Devil Dog, and I'm back with another video. I'm not sure if this is going to be a rant or a discussion. We're just going to have to see where we end up with this one. And this is involving the teaser trailer of what I've seen of the new Saints Row reboot that'll be coming out in February 25th of 2022 on just about every game system. Now, anyone who knows me knows I'm a huge fan of the Saints Row franchise, and I've played all the games. Now, the first couple were kind of, I wouldn't say they weren't normal, okay, they weren't normal at all, but compared to the later ones that got bombastic, over the top, honestly, they progressively got more outrageous and exaggerated and weird and wacky. And so far, there's a lot of people that are really disliking the idea that the developer Volition has actually went and decided to take this step with this new reboot. Now, first of all, I will say I agree with them in rebooting it, because after all the wacky and weird stuff that they did in the previous installments, they're not really leaving themselves open to be able to do much in terms of creativity. I mean, after all, come on, you went to space, you fought aliens, and then you went to hell and fought Satan. It's kind of hard to go somewhere fresh from that, okay? So I do understand and appreciate and agree with Volition in making a reboot to the series. Now, honestly, it takes place, I think, in Santo Eliso, if I'm saying the name of the place right, and it's almost like a giant, epic, large Las Vegas-like town. And honestly, hands down, I will say, the last series of games all focused on Steelport and other places, and I kind of felt that the overall world design itself got a little stale in the previous installments. Yes, you went to space, you went to hell, you went all of that, but honestly, when you had a real world environment, it was basically always some big giant city. So honestly, I am looking forward to the fact of the new game ideas of the world that they're creating in this giant Las Vegas type town that has multiple different gangs in it. You got some gangs that are like high-tech idiots, you know, that wear masks and they swarm you. You got the big thugs that don't use weapons, they use like melee weapons like sledgehammers instead. And then you got the military guy that kind of reminds me of one of the characters that they had from the original Saints Row 4, I think it was. The country guy that was played by Burt Reynolds, I think his voice was. Voiced by Burt Reynolds, I might be wrong. Where it's like another military conglomerate that it runs things. So hands down there, the premise actually seems pretty cool, and yet it does seem tied into the Saints Row. But now here's the other thing. Before I trash it, I'm going to give it all my likes. Next up, like I said, the game world actually looks really good. It looks very varied, has a nice amount of variety to it. It looks visually appealing. As they even said in the early teaser trailer, postcard moments. So I can appreciate the fact that they want to make a more visually appealing world, more dynamic world, and a larger world. I don't have a problem with the game setting. That is cool. Honestly, from what I've seen of actual gameplay, the gunplay looks very fast, frenetic, focused, and fluid. The weapons looked like they handled pretty good, and the driving aspects that I seen looked very polished. And hands down, that's going to be the majority of the game, is shooting and driving, along with bonus games, which I'm sure they're going to have. And I have to say that actually looks really, really good, honestly. But here's the thing. Now, here's the thing about Saints Row in general. The fan base is now gotten to the point with all the wacky installments that they expect super wacky over-the-top characters. They expect a super wacky over-the-top sort of scenario, plot. And everybody knows and loves the original characters. That's the main draw about this game, is the characters. Now, I have heard it does have a creative player in it, so that's good. I don't know how in-depth it is, because we won't really know until the game launches. Hopefully, if it's got an insanely detailed creative player, that is one of the hallmarks of every single Saints Row game. But from what I've seen, this honestly does not feel to me like a Saints Row game. Because first of all, the reason why they're called the Saints Row is where they're from. Saints Row. And I know since this is a reboot, they're going to say the neighborhood they come from is Saints Row, and they want to work up to be this giant mega conglomerate. But if you're going to do a reboot and you're going to get rid of the main thing that people know and love, the characters, why don't you just not even call it Saints Row at this place? Yeah, call it something else. Come out with something else, you know? I mean, honestly, your level design is great. The gunplay is great, fast and fluid. The game itself actually looks like it's going to be a really good, frantic and fun game. It doesn't look like it's a bad game. It looks like it's a really good, fun game. But the whole soul, the whole heart of the Saints Row franchise and their history has always been based off of their weird over-the-top plot, which this one might still have an over-the-top plot, but the lovable and likable characters that have returned. I mean, Gat was so well loved. Not only did you kill him, you ended up bringing him back because he was so well liked. And to me, if you don't have those characters in this, even if it's a new version of them, that to me seems like blasphemy to all the fans of the Saints Row series. Now, I can respect the fact as a development company that you're standing your ground and sticking with what you're building. I get that, and I can respect your artistic interpretation. But you're losing the heart and soul of what makes Saints Row in the first place. The characters. And you can have a great game. You can have great gunplay and a really neat world and environment and all kinds of neat missions. You can even have the same missions you have, like hit and run, ambulance, and all that stuff. That's fine. But just don't call it Saints Row. Call it something else and call it a Saints Row story. Call it Santo Apocalypso or a Saints Row story. That way you can say it's an alternate reality version of Saints Row. Because no one likes these characters. I absolutely can't stand these characters. It almost feels like you guys got woke. You want to go woke and you're going to get broke. That's the way I feel like it. You're wanting to modernize it because you say, oh, the previous Saints Rows were too over the top. And for a normal today's environment and world, things have changed. And we don't feel like we can have our creativeness and be able to come out with a product that's worthwhile for what the new fans of the generation would like. Well, here's the thing. The people who are going to be playing this game are the fans of Saints Row. If it's not going to be Saints Row, do like what you did with Agents of Mayhem. Call it a different name. That's all you got to do to solve this problem, people. Just change the name. Don't make it a Saints Row game. Call it something else. Because this honestly feels more closer to Agents of Mayhem than it does Saints Row. And Agents of Mayhem wasn't good. This looks actually good. It looks like a fun game. I want to play this game. But the problem is, calling it Saints Row means you have to follow certain things. It's got to be super wacky and over the top. It's got to have those cast of lovable, weird characters. It's got to have your weird and wacky enemies. And I'm sure they're going to be weird and wacky enemies. And I'm sure these new characters might have good development. But to me, they seem like stupid ass cash grab, stupid millennial BS. That's what it seems like to me, is that you went with woke culture and you want to come out with these new characters just so you can try to sell more copies. You're like, well, if we go like this, we're not going to sell as many copies as if we go with something new. That's fine. I can respect that. But make it its own IP. Don't use the name of Saints Row if it's not really Saints Row. Nothing about this, other than the gameplay and the driving, seems like Saints Row to me. It seems like a watered-down, homogenized, millennial version of Saints Row. And to me, that's the main problem with this title. The easiest fix to this is just to change the damn name. Don't call it Saints Row. Call it something else. And have a little subtitle that says, a Saints Row style story. That would solve the problem right there. Because then you get a little bit of the flavor of Saints Row in terms of the way the gameplay is. And then you don't piss off your fan base by kicking them in the face by not having any returning characters. Now, if you figure out a way to have the returning characters come in, I'm okay with it. But the characters that you have here, there's not a single one of them that I like. They all seem like stupid ass douchebags that live in their mom's basement. And I'm not interested in playing these characters. They look stupid, they act stupid, they sound stupid. Nothing against the voice actors. But in the end, I have to say, I'm really disappointed with you, Volition. You had a good chance to do something special here, and I love the fact of your creative freedom and your flavor that you're putting into this title. But for you to call it Saints Row and then walk over the corpses of all the main characters that made it what it was and just not call it a different name and put the tagline, A Saints Row Story at the bottom, that right there is just kicking all the original Saints Row fans right in the balls. Will I play it? I most certainly will, because I am intrigued enough to see, from what I've seen, it does look like a good game. I don't like the characters, though. Your characters suck. I'm sorry. You can't top Gat and the rest of them. You can't. That's why you just need to make a new game. Kind of like what you did with Agents of Mayhem, only that one sucked. This one looks a lot better because I like the game world. But only time will tell if this game is good or not. And I do look forward to playing it. Please leave in the comments below what you think after you've seen the Saints Row 2022 trailer drop. What you think? Do you think it's going to be good? Are you willing to play it? Are you mad that Gat and the rest of the gang ain't in this? Because this isn't really a reboot. It's a reimagining. And make sure to hit the like icon to stay updated whenever I release any new videos on my channel. Please like. Please subscribe. And remember, I always end my videos by saying, have fun, play hard, and remember, people, the devil is in the details. Peace out until next time.